the bad habits are creeping their way back in, and it's day 3. And not even that, it literally started with a single decision that I made yesterday. A single decision, a singular slight lapse in judgment led to me falling back into bad habits for the rest of the day. Yesterday at about 1 p.m, I went on my 10-minute break for the first break of my working shift. And that is when, instead of doing any work, reading, or just relaxing, I downloaded Clash Royale, my current addiction. And I played Clash Royale for the entirety of the break, to the point where I purposefully and consciously chose to stay late on my break to get another game in of Clash Royale. Not only that, I went to the toilet so that I could go toilet and play Clash Royale, which I then stayed longer to get another game in. Later on, at about 3 o'clock, I had an hour and a half long break, which I then spent most of that time playing Clash Royale, as well as listening to music and sort of talking to the friends around me who were also on break. I only waited until I had about half an hour left before I filmed yesterday's video. So I rushed to get to a spot and then hastily spoke about the topic. On the train home after work, I played more Clash Royale. When I got home, I plated a bowl of lasagna. I heated it up in the microwave. I put sour cream on it. I brought it down into my room. It was still piping hot because I put it in the microwave for longer. I had a drink ready to go, and I was planning on having a quick 5-minute cold shower so that I could get in, get clean, get out, and then eat my food once it had cooled down a little bit. But instead of having a quick cold shower, I brought my phone into the bathroom and I ran the bath. And I not only did that, I brought my box of chocolates. The box of favorites that I got for my birthday, I brought those into the bathroom as well. And so while I was sat in the bathtub playing Clash Royale, listening to music, I was also eating chocolate. Completely forgetting about the food that I had left on my desk, or the drink. And then an hour later, once I had finished that bath, I fell back in and broke the worst of my habits. I didn't fall back into the bath, I fell back into my old habits. It was literally 2 days into being 20, and I had already broken one of the biggest goals that I'd set myself for that entire year. And that technically writes off this entire year of 20. I'll know forever that when I was 20, I still fell into that habit. And literally barely 10 seconds after I'd finished whatever I was doing, the amount of frustration, shame, and just disappointment that I had in myself was humiliating and literally enraging. You can tell by the way that I'm picking up my pace that it still makes my blood boil, because it was such a simple yet dumb decision. Not even decision, it was a minuscule decision that I made at lunchtime of downloading Clash Royale that spiraled my entire day out of control, ruining my streak for the year. Not only that, it set me back bad habits. And this morning when I woke up, because I hadn't eaten my lasagna, I then put the lasagna in the microwave. I then, instead of waking up at 8 o'clock, I pushed snooze and snooze and snooze until 8:30, when I then got out of bed, drove to the gym, did 3 exercises for 20 minutes. I've timed it on my Whoop band. Ran back from the gym, had a quick shower, and then played Clash Royale while I waited to catch a train. And then I ate my lasagna. I played Clash Royale when I walked towards the train. whilst listening to music. And then when I got to the train, I started writing that script, and that is the end of the scripted stuff. And now it's time for real reflective talk. This is a massive lesson that I thought I had already learned, right? That arrogance that I have is so high that I need to be humbled. I fall into this arrogant trap of believing that I can just stop at will, and instead of setting up any systems in case I even get close to falling back into that habit, I just sort of ignore the fact that I might fail, right? And so I do this with my own success, and I'll talk a bit more about this, but on this topic, instead of setting up mental barricades and setting up processes on my phone to stop myself from downloading Clash Royale or whatever, I just believed through sheer willpower that I could do something so monumental as to go an entire year of having the streak without setting up any blockades. And so I got humbled through a minute decision that snuck its way in and then just grew literally like a cancerous cell. Broke in the tiniest amount and then just corrupted everything it touched. I didn't read, I didn't play chess, I didn't learn. I barely conversed with my friends yesterday. It was a horrible day. I sat in the bathtub for like an hour while eating the entire rest, like half the box of favorite chocolates. And it's this really, really bizarre dichotomy that I still have yet to truly sit down and analyze with myself. Because you need to be so arrogant that you, for some reason, believe that you, of all people, can be successful. Right? Because we all know the odds of becoming a millionaire. Yes, there's literally hundreds of millionaires get created every single day, but that's out of 8, probably 9 billion people, right? So the odds of that are literally less than 1%. Yet for some reason, you need to be arrogant enough and confident enough to believe that you can become that. And maybe that's the key difference, confidence over arrogance. I'm currently being so arrogant in the way that I go about doing everything that I'm constantly getting humbled because of my arrogance. You can only get humbled when you're arrogant, but when you're confident, you can only learn. And so what I've done over the past 2 years, before I really took this serious, I would say it doesn't matter if I fail here or mess up here or do any of these mistakes, or it doesn't matter if I waste the next year of my life, because I'm going to be successful anyway, right? I had too much arrogance in my future success that it sort of meant that whatever happens was always meant to happen, right? And so I would see my mistakes, my lack of proper processes to stop myself from falling into these habits, my horrible discipline, and I would see those not as mistakes that are dragging me down, stopping me from ever being able to achieve my goal, but I just saw them as sort of the process of achieving that goal, right? I brainwashed myself through arrogance My arrogance allowed me to be brainwashed into believing that I will be successful even if I do the bad habits. And this is reminding me very deeply of a podcast episode that I'm going to be filming. I know, another plug, the links are all in the description. And it's a simple quote that I heard that's kind of scary. The devil cannot make hell any more beautiful than what it is, because we all know what hell is. Even if you don't believe in God, you understand the concept of hell, and you can't make that sound good. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, even the devil cannot make hell sound good. So what does he do? He makes the path to hell the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Gives you the most immediate fun, the most immediate pleasure, the most immediate idea or sense of relaxation, so that you think that you are on the most enjoyable path, the most beautiful path, which you are. You're on the most beautiful path, which leads to hell, right? Because we can all understand and agree that working 12 hours every single day, 18 hours some days, not sleeping some days because you're stressed about whether or not a client's going to pull out on you, is much more difficult and way less beautiful than getting drunk on the weekends and partying and playing video games all day while you work some shitty job 30, 40 hours a week, right? That's more fun, more short-term, engaging, and looks more beautiful, but the end result is so much more horrible. And so in this episode, I'm going to go deeper into that and explore that topic deeper and understand and try and teach you and help you understand what that means, and how you can avoid falling into the trap that I'm currently in right now as I speak, of walking down the beautiful path to hell. And that's the thing. Arrogance is easy. Arrogance is fun. It is so much fun to just simply believe that you're going to be successful no matter what you do. It is so enjoyable to just think that you're going to be successful and you're going to be rich, because it's such a good idea that no matter what you do, you're going to be successful, because that is an easy thought to have. It does not make you think that it's going to be difficult. It does not make you think that you're going to have to work hard. It's such an easy thought to think that you're going to be successful out of pure arrogance and pure just willpower and luck. And it's a beautiful idea, and that's what I've fallen into. But being confident through slowly building up reasons for why you will be successful is not easy, it is not fun, and it's difficult to switch from arrogance to confidence, because to forget your arrogance, you have to be accepting of the fact that you are a failure. And that is so difficult. You have to accept that you are not currently going to be successful, because otherwise you would be confident that you're going to be successful, not arrogant. And so that's what I need to do. And simply just saying it out loud, that I need to drop my arrogance and learn that I'm currently a failure. That was almost so difficult to say, right? I can't just say that. I have to actually sit down without distractions and process that idea. Because if you never sit down and process the idea, you are literally just doing the easy work, and that's not beneficial. You're just letting it pass through one ear, out the other ear. You have to let it into one ear and grab a hold of it and squeeze it of all of its essence and process that information and understand it and insert it into your DNA until there's no more juice left, and then you can get rid of it. Right? And that's what I need to do. I need to sit down and meditate on my arrogance. And so I think that's what I'm going to do as a big focus for tomorrow. Tomorrow I have my motorbike test, my theory. So I got to do 35 questions on a computer about the road rules for riding a motorcycle. And right now I am just completely arrogant in the fact that I just believe that I know all the answers already, because 3 years ago or whatever, I passed the car theory test. even though they're completely different vehicles, the motorbike's going to have different questions that I haven't accounted for or even thought about. And I'm too arrogant to just believe that even if there is a question I don't understand, that I'll be able to figure it out and get the right answer just like that. Yeah, because once you drop your arrogance and start looking to build confidence, you fall into this like vacuum of nothingness, where you're not arrogant anymore, but you don't have any confidence. And so you're in this sort of pit, right? And that's what's scary. This pit where you're not protected by your arrogance and you're not standing upon your confidence. And you're down in this dark hole of just accepting that you're not currently good, or that you're not currently successful, or that you're not currently adequate, or that you're not currently capable, right? And that's scary. That is a scary ass place to be in, right? Because if you want to think back to biologically, history, cavemen, animals, who has the better chance of survival? The animal that arrogantly believes that it can run away from whatever creature arises, or the one that doesn't think it can run away, right? If an animal, split scenario, a tiger appears in front of a gazelle, and a tiger appears in front of a gazelle that's arrogant, the first gazelle doesn't think it can run away from that tiger. So why would it try? Why would it try as hard as it can if it doesn't even believe that it can, right? But the gazelle that's arrogant, that believes it can run away, will give it everything it can to run away, even if it's futile and they both get caught, right? But the first one is almost guaranteed to get caught. The second one has two weird scenarios though. That second one, its arrogance may be its demise, but it also may help it. And I think that's where we fall in as we see the arrogance and the benefit of that arrogance. For the example of this gazelle, the gazelle may not run as fast as it needs to because it's so arrogant it thinks that it can run away at half pace, right? And then the other scenario, the gazelle runs away with absolute speed and absolute ferocity because it believes it can, right? And it does escape out of pure arrogance, right? But now let's picture a third gazelle. Okay, this gazelle, when it was born, it watched its dad get murdered by a lion. And it saw its dad not be able to run away from that lion. And so every day this gazelle has been running away from a tree that it's marked towards another tree. And because this attack on their father was so brutal, they have visualized all of it and they can replay it in a flash. They understand and can see exactly how long it takes for that lion to go from point A to point B. And the gazelle is measured that tree to the bush. And every day it runs and it runs and it runs and it runs that gap, sprinting to be better and better and better. It let go of its arrogance, and that was scary because the gazelle understood that it's not quick enough to run away from that lion. And that is terrifying because you would die. And that is a terrifying thought to think that you currently would not survive, right? But this gazelle, through days, weeks, months, years of running between this tree and this bush, finally was able to outrun the lion in its head. It built up the confidence over a year through hard work and discipline. And then let's say the lion did show up. One day this gazelle was drinking by the water and it heard a lion rustling behind it in the trees, just in the foliage, just off to the right. And the lion gives chase. This gazelle is confident. It's been training its whole life for this moment, and it takes off. Its heart isn't overly racing because it understands that it doesn't need to dump adrenaline because it's confident. It doesn't need to panic, it just needs to run. And so this gazelle runs away, and the lion can't catch it because the gazelle built its confidence over the past year in its abilities by constantly working. And I need to be that third gazelle. I need to accept the possibility that if a guy on the street wanted to fight me, that he has the absolute potential to murder me, and that there is nothing that I can really do about it. My arrogance of watching 3 or 4 UFC fights makes me so arrogant that I believe that, I can just give him a rear naked choke and tap him out or put him in a fucking whatever, right? My arrogance believes that I would survive that attack. But I need to drop that and understand, which, like I said, I'm not doing it right now because it's such a scary thing to think about that I'm just saying it without processing it. That if a guy on the street wanted to kill me, he probably would. And I need to drop that and then go train. And when I'm in there training, I'm going to be so scared because I know that I'm not capable of defending myself. Until after years and years of practice and training every single week, I build up that confidence to know that I can defend myself. And that is not pretty. That is not sunshine and rainbows, funny, ha-ha. That's blood, sweat, tears for years until you're anywhere near confident enough to be able to allow a fight to break out in front of you and you not scatter, right? Or you can take the beautiful route, the easy route, the fun route of just being arrogant and not having to go through the pain of understanding. Far out, man. Why do I have to be so self-aware? Why do I have to be so arrogant and conscientious of that arrogance? How easy would it be to have never imagined a life where I could be successful? I have a friend, I won't name names, but I told him, like, I want a Ferrari, and his immediate reaction was, what, you can't get a Ferrari? Like, as in he didn't think it was possible for anyone to own a Ferrari, that like only the rich people who were this subsect species of human who weren't actually like him, they were the ones that could own it, but he couldn't. So in his mind, it didn't even comprehend that you could be successful. And so all day he works 20 hours a week and then plays video games for the rest of the week. How fun would that be? How fucking easy would that be to not have this conflict in your brain every single day for the past 2 years about how shit you are and how far you have to go and how much arrogance you have to deal with? How easy would it be to just sit in your room all day like I used to do and just play Rocket League every single day? 15-hour days I would spend on Rocket League. I was top 100 in New Zealand at Rocket League 1v1s. Right? And then a bold guy asked me what color my Bugatti was. Right? And that was 2 years ago. But boy, am I grateful that he asked what color my Bugatti was, because it's probably going to be black. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you tomorrow.